good evening, and welcome to another episode of Off the Dribble, presented and powered by the Warner Robins All Stars. We got another big show for you today. A lot of information. We got a top-notch guy in the state as far as when it comes to this basketball thing. But before we get to that, man, let me introduce the squad. Coach Tech.
What up? What up? What up?
What's going on, Coach?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Got nothing going on. Slow motion, man. Basketball season. We're gonna ramp up this week.
Yes.
First full week of practice, man. So things ramp it up. We're gonna find out what you got now. Tryouts is over with. So
Hey, how was the tryouts?
oh man, tryouts is tryouts. I mean, hey, you're gonna have the kids in there that's gonna shoot a million times. And you got kids in there that's gonna dribble the air out of it, and you got some kids in there that's gonna overpass it.
Right.
So, I mean, it ain't like you got nobody that's taking charges and stuff like that. So
yeah,
got a bunch.
Real quick, so from last episode, did y'all have any right-handed people in there that couldn't make right-hand layups?
No, I think we were pretty good on the laying up this year. Jump shooting though, woo.
Yeah.
Jump shooting now, but I mean, you got. I mean, we had some kids that make some layups, but like I said, man, you got jokers in there taking. They get that 6 7 minutes of play. They gonna shoot the ball about 25 times.
Any surprises? Any kids surprise you from coming back, or just a new kid? Anybody you think y'all may be able to use?
You can. I mean, yeah. I mean, we find hidden gems, man, almost every year when it comes to tryouts, and I mean, I think that's a great thing, you know, with having the tryouts. I mean, you find kids like that. So I mean, we find one or two, you know, come in, learn the system, and you know, and contribute.
Good deal.
Yeah. Coach G, what's up?
What it do, man? What's good?
Hey, man, what it's looking like?
Man, you know, same old. I'm repping my man's, you know what I'm saying, Hype South Skills Lab. My man Harnett getting me right with
the Skills Lab.
Okay. Charles, that's what we doing? We just gonna rub that in, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna rub it in, you know what I'm saying? I'm rub it in, man. You know, we was over there getting that word, man. He hooked right there.
Hey, don't worry about it. I already been talking about it. I'm looking for my shirt. My shirt is coming, bro.
Hey, I feel you. I need a few more shirts. I'm gonna have to put some. Hey, Coach Harnett putting people on notice, man. I'm gonna get this work over here.
Hey, why you playing? Well, I know we got it. I know we got some people we got to get some too.
Oh yeah,
we dragging our feet on. Well, I ain't gonna say we. I'll just say me dragging my feet on that. So I got to get on that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Charles, real quick, man. I wanna again also congratulate you on your retirement, man. I want you to speak on that chair that you're sitting in, bro.
Oh man, you know. So little blessing my homeboy sent to me, you know. I can see that little presidential chair, you know. But you know, it was a blessing, man. You know, it was good stuff. Always good to kind of sit back and reflect on the retirement piece. Now it's time to move on to some bigger and better things, man. Actually, I start my job Monday. I start my first job Monday.
Civilian job.
Civilian job. Yeah.
I can say it right this time. Civilian job.
Yeah, so you start a job. That man just retired and say he started a job Monday. You talking about retiring and starting a job Monday? I'm trying to figure out a way to take off tomorrow. Man, please.
Hey, got them youngins at the house, man.
Gotta keep grinding, man. Gotta keep grinding.
What?
Yeah.
So, it's hard for me to sit in one place anyway, as is. So I know I am.
Man.
Yeah. Hey, so all good, man. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors for tonight's episode. KPB Design, 619 Training, Hype South Media and Hype South Skills Lab. Coach Charles is rocking the Hype South Skills Lab shirt tonight. Coach
Hey,
Harnett, shout out to Coach Harnett.
yeah.
And, Coach Big Waist out there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, 619. We need some Merc over here, baby. You know what I'm saying? Merc.
Yeah, need to get on the ball there, buddy.
Hey, everybody representing. Kristen already hit us with our off the dribble shirts, so we already got that product. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, she ain't made but one.
Hey, and also real quick, man. Happy Hydro. I definitely want to give a shout out to Happy Hydro, man, and the great things that they're doing over there. We don't have the information ready to put on the screen just yet, but definitely check them out. Check them out on Facebook. I know they got a Facebook, and we'll get that information for you next week. But definitely shout out to Happy Hydro as well.
Absolutely.
And basically what they're doing is power washing. So it's a power washing and business that that supports the page as well and the movement. So shout out to them over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so real quick, like I said, we got a big show for you today. But before we get to that, man, we feel it's our civic duty, man, to go ahead and remind you guys to go out and vote. Elections coming up. So if you wasn't able to do your early voting, all the voting is going to be done on Tuesday, November the 3rd. Charles, you got a flyer for us?
Oh, man, I don't. My bad.
All right, but we definitely want to give a shout out to friends of the show, Miss Angela Edwards, Angela Anderson and Erica Williams.
Yes.
Oh, my bad, Kenny. Little miscommunication, brother. I thought you were talking about something else.
No, man, it's all right.
Talking about the flyer.
Yeah, man, they're running right now for the House County district attorney, Miss Erica Williams and Angela's Superior Court clerk. They're, like I say, they're friends of the show, and I guess we're gonna say it now before the end of the show. We're probably gonna have a special show tomorrow featuring those two. The day before the election, to give you their piece of why you should vote for them, and the reason you should get out and vote, period. So we'll have them on tomorrow, man, and just try to, like you say, do our civic duty. Definitely,
but more importantly, man, than anything else, definitely make sure you get out and vote. Pay attention to what's going on. Get out and vote. Be a part of the movement. However you vote, just be a part of the movement. So, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and bring our guest on, though. Mr. Kyle Sandy.
The dark
AKA,
the Dark Knight.
AKA
Dark Knight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Fighting crime in the daytime, talking basketball in the nighttime. You know how
There you
it is.
And you're MC too. Why?
So we didn't even ask, KP. How was your Halloween, man?
Oh, my Halloween?
Yeah.
I mean, same way it is every year. Give out candy.
Oh, okay.
Ain't do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I might have did something big. I don't know.
No, man. They went around the neighborhood and knocking on these photos, man, getting candy. I just gave out candy. I wasn't finna get into that, man. It's I let him run around here. And he was a vampire in Brooklyn. Vampire in Brooklyn, man. That was him.
There you go. So KP, I know how your Halloween was. We actually went out. How was that for you, man?
Hey, Kyle, you gotta excuse us for a minute, man. So here's the thing about me. I don't do scary movies. I don't do nothing, right? So yesterday, the opportunity came up for us to go to a haunted house, and I was like, nah. I was like, all right, let's do it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna stay in the car. I'm gonna stay somewhere. But it wasn't bad. It was good, man. It was a good family outing. went out with Coach G and his fam.
Yeah,
And we went out. What was it at, Charles?
Montrose, something like that. Montrose,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so we went out there and it wasn't bad, man. So maybe I'll do it again in a couple years. I don't know about next year, but but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Charles, what you think about it?
It was good, man. It was good. So it was a long wait. The cornfield. I grew up watching. I'm a scary movie dude. I'm a scary movie guy. You know what I'm saying? I watch them all. So like when we went through the little cornfield, it brought back childhood memories for me. Children of the Corn. KP said he ain't never seen Children of the Corn. Growing up, that thing terrified me as a little kid. I was like, I don't want to see no cornfield. I don't want to walk through it. So
Hey,
yeah, that brought back a little bit of memories.
So that was the thing. I never seen the movie, but as soon as I seen the cornfield, I was like, "Hey, we gotta walk." I was like, "Nah, bro."
Yeah, I grew up in Missouri. It's a lot of cornfields, so
I was like, "Nah, bro." Everything else I could take. The cornfield, I don't know what's about to happen. Not doing it, man. I watched too many episodes of Law and Order and CSI Miami and all that. Nah, man, I'm not playing that game. But all good. Hey, let's get to the guest. Kyle, what's up, brother?
Oh man, just busy time of year is about to kick off. Got all this preseason stuff out of the way. Preface it by saying preseason stuff does not matter. Preseason honors don't matter. Preseason rankings don't matter. What matters is where you finish at the end of the year. So if people are up in arms with anything, I'd rather be an all-state player at the end of the year than the preseason. I'd rather be ranked number 1 at the end of the year instead of at the preseason. So keep that in mind. This is just trying to set the table, let people know like what to make during the season, but we all know how crazy the GHSA basketball season is. You want to be the last man standing at the end of the year, not at the beginning of the year.
So Kyle, so it's safe to say you this list should be used more as motivation if you don't agree with it than anything else.
Yeah, motivation as a tool for players, fans, coaches, parents, just to kind of have an idea of maybe which teams that have an eye on or which players that have some good backing going into the season that we expect a lot from. But once there's a target on your back as a single player or as a team, once the bullets start flying, it's a lot different. I mean, everyone can be hyped up as being a superstar and the best team on paper, but once the ball is I would say the ball is tipped, but we're not tipping the ball anymore, so I got to adjust to that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
once we take it out of bounds.
Once the ball is inbounded, all that accolades, all those rankings, they go out the window. It doesn't matter. So I'm just ready to see some live basketball. It's going to be really fun this year.
I'll tell you what, the Dark Knight knows about getting shot at. Y'all better listen up.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, that's true. Some dark streets at night. You're right.
There you go. Dodge him, Kyle. Hey, so before we jump into it, real quick, Tap, before we jump into it, I just wanted to give Kyle his just due, man. Owner of Sandy's Spiel, home of the official GHSA state rankings. He's a writer over at Prep Hoops, and then the co-owner of Create the Culture. So we definitely want to, people to understand how you can validate and what your credentials are when you come out with these lists every year, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a long process. I mean, I'm on my Word document. I think it finished up either 19 or 20 pages on Word document for the boys, and the girls is about 15 pages worth. So, I mean, I know I wouldn't be writing 20 pages worth on, oh gosh, like how the light bulb works in college. That's something that doesn't interest me. But when it comes to high school basketball, I'm very interested in that, and it seems like I can produce a couple pages worth.
Yeah. I'll say this as well, man. Just from being at Jared Pro, and shout out to Jared and this whole team, man, on the event that they had last weekend. Just being up there and being able to talk to you for a minute or whatever the case may be, and being around you, and just getting that knowledge that you have. So not only on the programs, but as the individual players and what's going on in those programs and how that's going to affect. So just kind of seeing how your brain works just from that aspect. And me sitting there picking your brain. So I told you I was going to do it. I was going to try to figure something out. But me sitting there picking your brain and just having that conversation, you're all in on this. So this isn't just something that you just picked up on a whim and was like, let me put a list out. You really do your homework and your research on these schools and these programs.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no exact science. Like no one's gonna put a 1 through 10, and those teams are gonna say 1 through 10 the entire time. Injuries happen, teams not living up to expectations, teams, surpassing expectations. Everything always changes, and that's what sports makes sports so great because it's not predictable. You never know what's gonna happen. But yes, I do my research even through Max Preps, even though the new website I think is terrible. Very hard now, but yeah, I just try to get as much information as possible. Obviously, some things will slip through the cracks if there's a late transfer or a kid that's not playing a certain sport anymore. This, that, and the other things happen, but with all the available information that I can find, whether through my sources or through the internet, I try to just put it all into a witch's brew, Halloween. So stir the pot and make all that material and try and get as much good information out as possible.
Definitely, man. We definitely appreciate you coming on the show to discuss the list. Coach Tat, you had something before we
No,
go?
just to start off. I mean, if I guess want to let people, know what is your rankings, based upon. What are your criteria?
Yeah, so when I look at it, I look at what the record was last year, strength of schedule last year, historically, what's the program really kind of been like? Is this a team that has had a lot of success? Are they playing in a weak region and they get blown out in the first round, or are they a team that has a really good fundamental identity like Warner Robins, like you guys? It doesn't matter who's suiting up. They're going to play hard basketball. They're going to play really good defense. That's a trustworthy brand of basketball. And with that being said, also, obviously, you look at which teams have the most talent coming back. Cohesion's very important. If you got a team full of, 6 or 7 seniors coming back and they won 22 games last year, best believe they're probably going to be in the discussion to open up really high in the top 10 in their respective classification. And then, of course, transfers. I say it, and whether it's you like it or not, sometimes state titles are won and lost in the summer months, and it's not about gelling together. Sometimes about, oh, I went out and I got the best player in the state of Georgia to transfer to my school, and that's something you have to take into consideration when you're ranking these teams. Is just really about what that program stands for and what type of talent is going to be on that roster this upcoming year.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Coach D, you got anything for Kyle before we release these or get into these preseason rankings?
No, man. I think I was so when we was at Jared's event, the pro movement, I was really just impressed with how much you knew about these girls, each and every one of them. And, Kyle sits there, he got his notepad out. Hey, he gets into this. This is what he does, man. So there's a lot of validity in what he's saying and what he's putting out. And like you said, this is preseason. It's preseason, so it's going to be some surprises here and there, and rightfully so. But man, just respecting what you bring to the table when it comes to girls and boys basketball in Georgia, that's impressive, very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on that, like I said, I mean, you're spitting out stats. Uh, you're giving history on these programs. You understand who's moving. You understand who did what last year, or whatever the case may be. And I can barely remember names sometimes. You ask these guys, I can remember, I can barely remember names and faces. So for you to sit there and see this kid and know, and like Charles said, even more impressive on the girls or the boys side. You got that history and that background to be able to speak knowledgeably about what's going on and how that program is going to look, and know the coach's first name, and very personable. I'll give you that as well, because while I was sitting there talking to you, some kids that came up, right? And you didn't have an air about yourself or any of this type of stuff. You're very personable. Understand why they're coming up, and they want to introduce themselves and probably get on your tracking list or whatever the case may be. But you're very personable, and had a conversation or whatever. So again, man, I applaud you for that.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, you can't cover any type of sport if you think you're too good for the people that are actually playing it, or the coaches. Like the coaches, the players, even the parents, even other media. We're all in this together, and if you think you're better than one other person, or one piece of that puzzle is not fitting with the other, it's just not going to work. So it's really a joy just covering it. And I always like to say knowledge is power. Just researching information, trying to know as much as possible. Like I said, when it comes to opinions, you're not always right. Everybody always has an opinion, some right, some wrong. It is what it is, but just really fun trying to cover boys and girls together.
Yeah, and just one other caveat, man. And this is about us as far as off the dribble staff. That was our first event, media, quote unquote event. So we really appreciated that as well. Jared, good looking out, my man, for putting us on the list and letting us come through. Anybody else having any events? You put us on the list, we're gonna be there, and we're gonna cover it as best we know how. Charles is all over the place. I think he had a couple cameras taking videos. He on the phone. He doing all of this, and I'm just kind of like, all right, this what's up.
I tell you this though. I tell you this. You get a newfound respect for
Yes.
people that actually does that stuff.
Yes.
I mean, like you say, I know I probably put out a couple tweets here and there, but I was so happy to see Kuwasa walk in. Hey man, hey, this is you, brother. Like, I mean, but I have a newfound respect of, them. They can sit there and watch, and the wording to me is the wording. I mean, how they put that stuff together. I mean, I know some people might be saying that like, oh, it ain't that hard. Okay, I go watching a basketball game and try to word that stuff the way they word it, and as quick as they getting that stuff out and looking at the same thing. And that ain't easy, man. I got a newfound respect for that stuff, man. But I mean, it was fun. I mean, first time I ever did it.
And not just the tweets, but you guys are doing full articles. Like that's
yes.
Right.
So that's a lot of work, man. I'm just there with the video and with the camera, and I shoot out a little bit and have a little whatnot, But actually going back and sitting at your desk and writing an article on, a few kids, trying to remember what you saw and what your notes say about that kid, and putting it into, this, making your words have a vision. That is, yeah, that's
in-depth article.
Yeah, it's an in-depth article, so that's impressive.
So I know I was telling Charles, hey, go ahead and post something so I can retweet it.
Hey, I'm telling you, Kenneth Wason would tell you. When that Joker walked in and I seen that Joker and he came up, man, I told that Joker, well, I'm glad to see you, boy.
Yeah. And then sometimes I say this, sometimes it's not even how well the kid has played at that event, but it's how well they have developed from the last time you've seen them. Last event to this event, it's like, whoa, this kid has grown tremendously from in an 8-week time period. So sometimes just that. So it's a lot that goes into it. The evaluation ain't as simple as ain't cut and dry.
No, hey, so it's funny because Wasey, he sent me something, and he's like, "Hey, remember this young lady was at the camp, but he had seen her like maybe 4th to 5th grade, right?" And he was like, "Hey, I told you back then. Look at the date. I told you that this was gonna be somebody."
Right.
So we kind of went back and forth, and I was like, "Yeah, man." I said, "We're there, and we're trying to figure it out, but what is it?" And he was like, "Trust your eyes. Trust your eyes. Don't try to overthink it. Don't try to make it a big whatever. Trust your eyes. What you know basketball, so if you see it, understand what you're seeing, and that's what you kind of go with as far as a light moving forward." So, Kyle, is that kind of how what you kind of put into it? Like your initial thought is trusting your eyes and then going from there?
Yeah, for sure. If you've been covering basketball, I mean, you don't even have to cover basketball. If you know the game of basketball and you know it, fairly well, it doesn't take too long. It takes a few trips down the court to kind of tell, like, okay, this girl, she's a little bit different from everybody else.
Mhm.
And it is about trusting your eyes. And if you have the background story about what they've done and stats and all that stuff, that's all good. But we all know you average 25 points per game in 7A. That's a lot different than averaging 25 points per game and maybe one of the lower classifications where
Right.
you're not really playing anybody, or you're on a team where somebody has to score and you're the person. So yeah, definitely trust your eyes and just it's something that everybody that watches basketball, I'm sure, repetition is key too, especially for me with girls. How this year has been kind of like the biggest year. I've been snowballing into getting into girls coverage a lot more and just, thinking to myself, maybe not putting it out there, like, okay, I think this girl's pretty good. Let's see what happens 2 or 3 years from now. By the
Mm.
time she's a senior, by the time she's in college, like, okay, did this girl go junior college and now she's playing at like a Power Five conference? And it ended up like sometimes people are late bloomers, but it is, again, it's all about repetition and experience, just like anything in life is,
Yeah.
doing it
No,
as much as
definitely, man.
possible.
Again, shout out to Jared and him putting that on last weekend, giving that opportunity out. And it was, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was some straight ballers up there, man.
Mhm.
It was some like specifically probably about six of the young ladies kind of just stood out as being different, or you knew that their path was gonna go a little different, just by the way that they approached the game, the way they were playing the game. They didn't look nervous or stressed out there. They were just having fun and kind of communicating. But you could tell they had put the work in ahead of time.
Mm.
So yeah, they definitely look different up there.
Definitely
Yeah,
some names I
very
want.
true.
Yeah. So without further ado, though, man, let's jump to it. The 2021 preseason GHSA Boys State Ranking. You ready? We all ready? Do we need a drum roll? I don't know. Do we
Let's
have a drum
do
roll
it.
machine, Charles?
Hey, so how you want to do? You want to walk through? Kyle, you kind of lead the way on this, and I'm gonna follow your flow on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I usually like to start if we start with like the biggest classifications and work our way down. That's usually how I usually flow
All right.
together.
All right, let's get it. Let's go with it.
Yeah, as you can see, there it is, 7A rankings. And with the reclassification and everything and the new region alignments, that changes a lot of stuff. And for me, that's trying to remember, okay, this school is up here, this school dropped down. And if you're a big school and you're dropping down a few classifications, that could really change some things. And if you're a small school going up, that could also change some things. But I don't think there's any real surprises looking at number one and number two. Maybe some would think Grayson's number one, and I argue with you, but Milton, they're a nationally ranked team right now. Bruce Thornton, I think he's probably the best point guard in the state of Georgia. Junior, I think he just released his top five schools, and of course they're all big time high major programs. But Milton was
Yeah.
really good last year, a little young with some freshmen and some sophomores, but now you advance them into sophomores and juniors, and you add in Brock Bidwell, who transferred in from West Forsyth, and he's going to Campbell, so that's another really good ball handler. You got guys like Kendall Campbell, who transferred in from Meadow Creek, who was really, really good in the offseason. He's got SEC offers now. He's about a 6'7" power forward that can score inside and out, and he's just going to provide such a different dynamic for them. You got LT Overton going to come off the football field, almost average a double double as a freshman. Kanan Carlisle, he's got a
Mm.
ton of offers already going into his sophomore season. So I mean, they're really loaded. I mean, their top five, six, seven is as good as anybody in the state. And then if you look at Grayson, last year 60-59 lost in the state championship game to Wheeler. Was one of the best teams in the entire nation. Graduate that big three of Davon Smith, Tenari Lang, and then your one other to South Florida. So looking at what Grayson has coming back, Ian Shefflin, big guy who is going to Clemson. You got Tajay Kelly, who's developed over the summer, hasn't played huge minutes at Grayson, more of a guy that's come off the bench and rebounded, but he's going to Charleston Southern already. So he's going to help. Chauncey Wiggins moves in. Tyrese Elliott moves in, a guard from Alabama. And then Robert Coward, who averaged over 20 points per game at Denmark. So all the firepower that they lost, they replaced with some transfers, and they already have some good players in place. Chad Moody, who's a sophomore, I think he's got a shot to be really good. Might not see a ton of minutes this year, but he's 6'7". I think he's got a lot of skill. So when you look at Class 7A, you're looking at Milton and Grayson. Those two, I would like to think, are the teams to beat right now.
Mm.
I got a question. Did uh did Caleb Washington, did he transfer to Will?
He is at Wheeler, yes. So, Pebblebrook, it feels like it's a trade. Pebblebrook, they shipped him off, and then they picked up Aaron Reddish, who came over from Wheeler. So, there's some swapping, and Pebblebrook's still really good. Jamal Kleiss going to Georgia State,
Yeah.
Tyler Shirley going to South Alabama. So those are two 6'6", 6'7" guys right there. You bring in Reddish, another 6'6". You got Kamai Young coming over from North Cobb Christian, where he averaged over 20 points per game. You got Danny Stubbs going to Georgia State at the guard position. So Pebblebrook's, they're as loaded as pretty much anybody in the state as well. They were only, I think, 16 and 14 last year. Didn't really live up to expectations. They played a really tough schedule. But I mean, that's a really good team. And one thing I want to say is the second round matchup, we're going to lose some really good teams because if everything goes chalk according to these rankings, we got, it looks like, what is it? Region 5 is going to play Region 7 in the second round. And if we're looking at the number 1 and number 2 seeds from those regions advancing, you're looking at potential matchups with Milton playing either Norcross or Berkmar in the first round, and the same goes with Cherokee, who opens up at number 7. You got Milton and Cherokee are going to be playing either Berkmar or Norcross if there's nothing crazy, if those teams live up to what they're supposed to do. So that's one. That's number let's see, one, number 4, number 7, and we got that one more. So it's that's and number 6 Norcross. So that's a brutal second round matchup. We've talked about in the past how Elite Eight matchups sometimes are your state championship game. That's just how the bracket lays out. But all these teams live up to what they're supposed to do. There's going to be two really, really, really good teams that are going to get eliminated in the second round really, really early.
Mm.
Gotcha.
Kyle, let me ask you this, Kyle. What team? I guess that was in your last year's rankings that kind of dropped the most.
It's tough to say, with everything, with the new regions and everything, new classifications changing. Just trying to look at what I have here. Like teams that graduated a lot. Like Archer was a good team last year. They graduated a good chunk of those guys, so they're on the outskirts right now. Looking at some other teams that might stand out, like East Coweta, a team that they're not ranked right now, but I would assume East Coweta is going to get in there eventually. I mean, their two best players, Chris Youngblood, Brandon Stroud, they're at Kennesaw State now. Those guys meant everything to that program. But Austin Colton's a young little guard that can score the ball really well. And they got Sammy Moss, who's been blowing up. Oklahoma State offer, high major offers. He's got a chance to really put that team on his back. So East Coweta, a team that's always been in the top 10, it feels like the past 2 years. They're not in it right now to open up, but I don't think it's going to take long for them to crack it.
Go.
So yeah, Quasi had a question. Want to know your thoughts on the Norcross roster this season?
Yeah, so they're gonna have talent. I mean, Norcross is never short of talent, and if you look at it the past, I know since I've been covering it, it feels like Norcross has a top 3 roster in the state, pretty much regardless of classification every year. I think Jaden Harris, who started off at Stratford Academy, I think, going into his final year, I thought he had a really nice summer. Scoring the ball,
Yeah.
he's really quick, he's strong. I think he could really showcase some skills this year. I think he averaged only about, but I would look for him to be a leader for this team. They got Cockyatt, I believe he's going to DePaul. That's a guy that he's really going to have to shine because I watched them when they got beat by about 30 by Grayson in the state tournament. I don't know what was going on, and I think that was my first time seeing Norcross play last year. But a 6'8", 4-star guy, and he only played like the last 4 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game when they were already getting drilled. So I'm not sure what the backstory was on that, but he's going to have to really emerge and be a star player for him. And then they got some other guys. Jerry Dang apparently moved in from 4 prep. um, Johnson, London Johnson, who's supposed to be a really big young prospect from the Carolinas, and then Mir Panawam, a really athletic guard that moves in from Alaska. So Norcross, they have the talent. They always have the talent. With them, it's all about putting the pieces together, gelling, and then living up to expectations come March.
Gotcha.
Uh,
I'll tell you what, man. I'm looking. You know, we're gonna move to this say, but my goodness, when I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing up. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting. I'm just saying, man. Look at that thing.
It's a lot going on, huh? I want to
Yeah.
hear your thoughts. What are
A
your
lot.
thoughts? I need you to tell me. I'm nervous now.
I mean, I didn't know Wheeler moved down to 6A.
That's what I was saying. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of things are going to be different this year. You're going to be thinking, how's this team doing? Like, oh, they're all the way down in so and so classification. Like, it's crazy, and especially looking at 6A. 6A is super deep, and I thought it was really really deep last year, but it's this is a classification that could see 15 to maybe 20 teams crack into the top 10 at some point. But on the girls' side, oh my gosh, on the girls' side, it's ridiculous. Kell only lost one game last year. They lost to Buford, who won the state title. Who's won like 4 straight state titles. You got Westlake girls who've won like 78 straight in there. So on the girls' side, it's ridiculously loaded. But I mean, on the
So
boys' side, you're looking at Wheeler right there.
Wheeler moved
You
down
mentioned it.
and
They got
Hale moved up.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and you're looking at Wheeler with Caleb Washington, like you said, he's over there now. Cam Johnson moved over from Harrison. He was an all-region player, a good young guard. Jaheim Hudson still there. I think outside of Sam Hines, who was Superman for them all season long, and he was tremendous. I think Jaheim Hudson was really the one that anchored that side because at about 6'7", he was such a physical rebounder, such a great shot blocker, and Larry Thompson's a great coach. And what's it always start with him? It starts with defense and inside play. And he had that last year with Hines, who's more of a swing man, but he was so dominant in the post against Grayson in the state title game. And then you're looking at Hudson, who's been really, really good inside as well. And then, of course, Isaiah Culler coming back from that broken shoulder bone last year when he got hurt against East Coast. So Wheeler they're going to be really good. They got plenty of talent there. I think they're the team to beat. But you look at some other teams like Heritage Conyers, James White going to Ole Miss. You get Mr. Elon, R.J. Nord. That's a really good backcourt right there. They can do a lot of scoring. Both those guys average over 20 points per game. They got some nice role players as well. But the thing that really separates Wheeler from a lot of these other teams is they can go like 7, 8, 9, 10 deep, and it's not a huge drop off. Like they got some really good guys waiting in the wings that are going to come off the bench. That could probably start for a lot of these teams. So Wheeler's going to be really tough to beat, but you got a team like Kell with Scoot Henderson. You can put the team on his back. He can go crazy. He's got some nice little role players. He got good guard play. They're not going to be super huge this year, but that's going to be a really good team as well. And then Buford, Eddie Martin, a genius coach. He's won so many games. Jalen Taylor's really good. He's really blossoming into something special. And then at the bottom of the poll, you see Chattahoochee, the defending state champs. AJ White, he might only be 5'9", but he's going to give you 25 points per night, and he can carry his team like you saw last year. And then Richmond Hill, a team that's coming from over close to that Savannah area, had a really good year last year. Lost some guys to transfer, but Jaden Marshall is a really tough guard. If you don't know about him in Metro Atlanta right now, he's about 6'3", downhill, real physical, tough guy. I think Richmond Hill will have a nice season.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, so I'm going to ask you this, man, because you just brought it up, kind of with the Richmond Hill. People understand this isn't a Metro Atlanta ranking. This is the state of Georgia.
Entire thing.
So with you, want to cover and be transparent with all the teams and giving the honest rankings. Just kind of speak on that a little bit, man. This isn't a Metro Atlanta thing. This is a state of Georgia thing.
Yeah, and Georgia has terrific basketball all across the state. If you don't know that by now, you haven't been watching high school basketball, or you've only been in a bubble watching Gwinnett County, Cobb County, Fulton County. Just way too good to not cover the entire state. And there's some good teams now. Again, like the difference from these teams that might be on the coast or down south or wherever. We said, Wheeler, their top 1 through 10 is great. These other schools that aren't in that metro Atlanta area, they might not have the depth as some of these other teams from Cobb County and everything like that, but these are really good teams. And traditionally, when you go outside of Metro Atlanta, the only way you're going to be good is if these teams are tough. Hit them in the mouth, tough, not going to back down. They have that mentality of we don't get enough love in South Georgia or wherever we're from. We want to go out and prove it. And you can't overstate that enough. Like that's something that these kids are really serious about. Hey, I see I'm going up against a 4-star kid. I'm just as good as him. I get no love. That's going through these kids' mind, and they're representing that entire city. Like some of these schools, that might be the only school in the entire county or in the entire city. They're hometown heroes, and they can really do some good things. And there's a lot of good teams in 6A. Richmond Hill's really tough. Valdosta, they were really great. Daryl Lockhart's a great coach over there. They have a really nice senior group coming back. They just missed out on the top 10, but that's a really good team. And it's all over the map, but it really helps to see some of these guys in person. But and I did get to see a good chunk of Richmond Hill's top players, Braden Baker as well. I got to see those guys over the summer months, which really helps because you can look at their record. What they were like 24-5 last year. Records can be sometimes different, obviously, and you look at their stat totals, and again, stats can sometimes you don't know, but this again goes back to trusting your eyes. Like I saw Jaden Marshall play over the summer. I saw Braden Baker play over the summer. I know these guys can play in the Metro Atlanta area. Like you stick them on a Lanier team or a Alatuna team or a Kell team. Like these guys are going to start. They're going to be one of their best players on the team. So, great basketball all over the state of Georgia. I never try to slide anybody that's not from the Metro Atlanta area. You know me. I tend to love the guys from the outskirts, as you say. But yeah, just really basketball all over. It would just be foolish to kind of overlook and just dismiss what these teams have done.
Right. Hey, and one other point, real quick, was South Cobb. So I know they had a big time transfer, but even with that transfer, they still ended up in your top 10.
Yeah, so South Cobb, they were going to be ranked quite high with Zacho Littleton coming back. I think he's ranked like a 3-star player. They were going to be ranked right up there, really, really close. And they're in that super tough region. I mean, Region 6, I'm looking at it right now on my sheet. You got Wheeler's number 1. You got Kell number 3. You got
Oh,
Alatuna number 7.
right.
South Cobb number 8. You're looking at a team like Pope that won 21 games last year, has the best passer in the state, and Will Colker. And Pat Atney is a great coach. Um, Osborne, who that's where Zacho Littleton went to now. Now they haven't had a winning season since 2014, but now you got a Division I guard in your backcourt and a new head coach. So things are gonna be tough. Like that's possibly the toughest region in the entire state. That is, there's gonna be some really good teams that don't make it to the state tournament, and don't be surprised if maybe like a 1 or 2 seed they could get clipped in that region tournament, and we might not even see them in the state
Mm.
playoffs.
Man, I'm just looking at this first 5. I'm like, God, whew, it's a tough list from 1 through 10. But that first 5 just stands out.
Well, trust me, I mean, we've had the luxury of seeing the number 3 and the number 5.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Number 5 teams, and now we get to see the number 2 team, Heritage, at Hype South Hardwood Classic.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I mean that's what you want though. Is I know Coach Tad, I know you guys, you want to challenge yourselves. Like if you're gonna win a state championship, you're not playing powder puffs. Like the year you guys won it all, you weren't playing the blind and the deaf school. You were playing some heavy hitters. You played a lot of state championship winning teams that year. So I mean, that's what they say, iron sharpens iron, and nobody knows it better than Warner Robins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
I see that shirt, Coach Tech.
Oh yeah. I mean that's I mean, and that's the thing that Coach Garmin, man, Coach Garmin preaches to all of us. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to take that tough road. And that's what he lives by that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's no sense. You're going to have to beat a good team eventually, unless you have just the ridiculous, most crazy luck in the world. You're going to have to beat good teams. So why not prepare for it?
Yep,
Right.
it is.
right. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it going.
5A, familiar team at number
Some
6.
familiar teams around here.
Yeah.
They're gonna be-
Coach Tat, you wanna hear
familiar
him?
logos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that number 1 team, Tri-Cities, you know, we were talking about it off the air, I think. Tri-Cities has pretty much everybody back. I mean, they lost in the Final Four last year to Chattahoochee, I believe. The year before that, they won the state title. This is a program that has championship DNA and a lot of it. Peyton Daniels is going to Vanderbilt. Simeon Cottle's a really good undersized guard. They got 3 transfers that moved in. Chancellor Johnson from Las Vegas. I think he's supposed to be a guy that can really shoot the ball, a 6'4" wing. You know, you could always use a 6'4" wing that can space the floor. So they're going to be really good. Tri-Cities is going to be tough. And, you know, looking at all these rankings we got, they're one of the teams that I felt, you know, most confident of opening up at number 1 because they got pretty much everybody back. They have an influx of talent. Amari Forts is a great coach. They've won a title before. They got a lot going on, going for them right now. And then number 2, St. Pius. Same thing. I know it's in the rankings. I got to pull it up right now and just view this crazy stat. You know, St. Pius has been such a good team for such a long time now, and you know, they made it to the Final Four last year with the team that was somewhat inexperienced. I mean, the way they got to the Final Four was quite impressive. I believe they beat America Sumter, who was undefeated at the time. But Coach Aaron Parr has been there for a while now, and a record of 197 and 51. That's a 79% winning mark over his 8 years, and he's never lost more than 9 games in a season. So it doesn't matter. Like, he's got the system. St. Pius is going to be a really fundamentally sound team. They're going to shoot the ball fairly well. Brooks Collert was on an all-state team to open up the year. The flashiest passer in the state, possibly the best passer in the state with Will Colker. And they just have a lot coming back from that team. And it's not a bunch of superstar guys, Division I talent. Like, if you just lined them up talent for talent against some of these other teams, they're not the most talented team. They're not the most talented. They're not the most athletic team. They aren't the tallest team, but they are one of the most well-coached teams, and they're disciplined. And that's another thing. You just don't graduate culture. And St. Pius, they have a lot coming back, and I think they're going to be ready to go. So that's why they got that 2 spot. And then after 2, that's where it's just like, you know, I know these teams below St. Pius, below the top 2. I know all these teams are going to have good years. I just don't know which team out of this pack is going to have the best year out of all these, you know, teams. You know, veterans, you know, up your way. That's a team that had the best season in school history last year. D'Angelo Hines is supposed to be back. TJ Grant's back. Aaron Jones moved in, you know, 6'9" shot blocker, young, showed a lot of promise over the summer. That's a good core 3 right there. Eagles Landing, that's a team that's won a ton of games and has been really, really good in the regular season. They just haven't been able to get past the Sweet 16. But David Thomas is one of the best sophomore guards in the state. He's going to be a Division I player. I love his game. Woodward Academy at number 5. Not really sure what we're going to get from Woodward. Won this championship last year, but they graduated, you know, pretty much everybody. Walker Kessler is gone. Will Richards coming back, going to Belmont, a 6'4" wing player. Logan Stevens looks like he's going to be their second option. That's a guard that, could really score the ball off the bench last year, but he was dinged up and missed a lot of games last season. Number 6, Warner Robbins. We already know, about the toughness. Greg Jones, Rashawn Tomlin, all these guys. Just going to, walk through glass to get the job done. Chapel Hill is a team that had a really nice season last year. Mekhi Bell transferred out, but KJ Doucette is still there, a good 6'5" wing that could put the ball in the basket. And they got some good young talent too. Kelvin Hunter, I believe he's about 6'8", can stretch the floor, but really is known for his rebounding and blocking. Last I heard, Shai Shannon is supposed to be there. If true, that's a super, super athletic 6'4" wing. So that's going to be a really good team. And Jameson Winters, I really liked what I saw from him. I thought he's going to take a really big step and really be a solid point guard for Chapel Hill. And then, Cass and Blessed Trinity in that same region, Region 7, those two teams are going to be going back and forth. I think Cass and Zaylen Chaney, if he wants to be a big-time Division I player, he can be it. 6'6" on the wing, can go inside, can get a bucket. It's all about this. Does he want it? Does he have it mentally to say every single night, every single possession, I'm going to be the man? It's just a thing about, maturing as a player and as a person. If he puts it all together, he could be a legitimate game changer. I know he was a big-time player last year, an all-state player this year. He's going to carry that team. And then Blessed Trinity, Jax Bonite, terrific offseason. Great point guard, can pass, can shoot, can score at all levels. He absolutely carries that team. Brigham Rogers, a 6'8" sophomore who I really like. With the All-Stars this year. I think he's going to be really, really good as well. And then Mundy's Mill, that last spot at number 10, I thought that was, I didn't really know who to give it to. But Mundy's Mill, they had a couple transfers move in. They got some pieces still there in Welcher, who averaged close to 10-7 last year. But that Region 3, you're looking at Woodward Academy, you're looking at Tri-Cities, you're looking at Mundy's Mill. Forest Park is really young, really good. And then Jonesboro, super well coached. I know you know it. So that's going to be a really competitive region in Region 3.
Yeah. Hey, so we definitely got a comment from one of the viewers. One of our most dedicated viewers. Look like you're talking to you, Coach Tack.
Hey, I think he knows. I think he knows the answer to that. I don't think they're gonna be ranked higher than us at the end of the season. No, I'm gonna just leave it at that. No, I don't think they'll be ranked higher than us at the end of the season.
You beat them 2 out of 3 times last year, right? You beat them 2 out of 3 times. Is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's doing these rankings, man? I don't know. He doesn't know this.
And I mean, like you say, they got like you say, they got a core. They got some good kids over there. Like TJ he's a player now. And D'Angelo's a player as well. And Aaron just getting there, like you say, you got a 6'9" kid that can block shots. So they got a core over there. I mean, it's just the experience of the Demons that I think. Yes, I'm biased. I'm supposed to be, but don't get it done.
Hey, so Wasey asked a question, and I think it's a great question. So I'm gonna throw it back to you, man. Just from seeing that, right, and seeing that top 10, just kind of give us your thoughts on where you think you guys are. First of all, your thoughts of the class, and then as far as where you think where you guys can make some headroom at.
Well, the thing about it is, as a coach, you always gonna think you're supposed to be ahead of where you're ranked.
Right.
But where you're ranked is where you're ranked. Like you say, it's preseason. It's how you want to finish, not where you start. This is just something that we preach to our kids, man. Like, you see the rankings, you see who ahead of you. How you got to go get them. Right. That's the main thing. We don't see those other guys until state playoff. But we see veterans. I guess the last 5 or 6 years, we've been seeing them 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to see veterans 3 times a year. So we just got to do what we got to do. You can't hang your head on these rankings, man. People, it's based upon, like Kyle said earlier, it's based upon opinions. Opinions is opinions.
Right.
It is what it is. We just got to go out and do what we do.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
Looking forward to it, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Off the dribble will be in the building.
Oh yeah.
As long as y'all get those passes right.
Get those passes right.
Yeah.
This is tough. Hey. Woo.
Yeah.
Class 4A.
Yes, sir.
This is the classification where, you know, this could get really ugly. Like this top 10 could be like I might have to quit the business because this classification is wide open. Um, if you got shuffled into anything, at least for this year, you wanted to be in Class 4A because you're looking at, you know, Miller Grove's ranked number 1 right now, but let's be honest, this isn't Miller Grove of 5, 6, 7 years ago. This is a Miller Grove that is rebuilt. They've definitely rebuilt. Roswell Chester's done a really nice job, and this year they have a good senior cast. Zaire Green's a really tough guard that gives you about 16 points per game. So he's going to be good. Jamel Barber is a versatile piece. So Miller, they're going to be tough. They got a lot of guys. Tariq Boyd at the guard position. So you know, I'm going with Miller Grove just because again, this is a team that even though none of these guys were really there when they were winning all these state titles, they know what the expectation is. Coach Chester was on the sidelines for some of those titles. Um, you're looking at a program that I think they're ready to get back and play really deep into the postseason. A lot of seniors. This is a team that I think they ended up. I think it was in overtime. They lost to Kell like 96-94. They pretty much had Kell beat. They were up like double digits, and then it fell apart in the second half. But Miller Groves, they're really really good. So that's why I have them at number 1. But like I said, don't be surprised if any of these other teams skyrockets up the pole, or if there's a team that's not even ranked right now that, you know, that what we said earlier. That's what makes sports so great. They're unpredictable. Nothing is going chalk. It's not according to plan. Things happen. These are 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. Uh, Stuff happens, and sometimes you can get hot at the right time. If you're playing your best basketball at the right time, region tournament play, that's when you want to peak in Class 4A because things can get pretty crazy. You're looking at number 2 Spencer. That's a really good team right there. Jalen Sellers left. I thought he left a team that could potentially win a state title this year. But Spencer's got a lot back. Shaquiz Holt, a good guard. They got some transfers that really can help out. Tyson McDaniels, 6'5", 6'6" wing, transferred over from Jordan, I believe. He's going to really help. Jaleel Parker averaged over 11 points per game at Shaw at the guard spot. And Spencer, they scored over 100 points like 4 or 5 times last year. Scored 117 points in a game, but again, they played in a really, really bad region, and they were just clobbering these teams by 30, 40, 50 points, just overmatched. So, you know, they're jumping up from Class 2A all the way to 4A. And
Wow.
Spencer's going to be fine. Obviously, if I have them ranked at number 2, I have a lot of faith in what Coach Eric Allen's going to do. They're going to be really good. I don't think they're going to score hundreds and beat everybody by 40 points like they're used to. They're in that region 2 at some Columbus teams. So Hardaway is a really good team that just missed out on the top 10. They'll be tough. Carver Columbus. They always have athletes. Columbus has two pretty good players, so they're gonna have to go out and get it. But a team I'm really looking at right now. I mean, other than Fayette County, had Caleb Banks come in, and I think they're gonna have a really really good. Baldwin 3. I think Baldwin could be really good. They were 14-10 a year ago. Christian Burnett transfers in from GMC where he averaged double digits as a youngster. I haven't been able to see him in person, but I hear really, really good reviews about him. They're supposed to have everybody back. Will Freeman, a guy I really like, averaged over 16 points per game. Jeremiah Simmons, Satcher. So that they have 4 guys coming back, plus Burnett makes a 5th guard. I think Baldwin has a chance to have a really, really good season. And you know, you're looking at it right here on the rankings. That's number 3, but they're gonna have to deal with number 8, Kawasi Reeves Jr. going to Florida. So I expect those two teams to really go back and forth. My thing is with Westside, with Jay Mosley transferring over to Florida. I had Westside. I thought they were going to be a team that, just looking at it, that dynamic duo, a number one ranked team right there. I feel confident. I know Quasey's really, he's going to care. He's going to get his stat. He's going to do everything he can. He's telling people he's ready to win a state championship. He is the type of player that can carry his team to a state title, no doubt. It's just who are those guys that are going to grow up next to him and really make an impact. And then they got a 6'8" freshman I hear is pretty good too. That could really, really help out a lot. But it's all about the supporting cast for Little C. As long as his guys are along for the ride, I know he's going to carry them. But if those guys are along for the ride and can do what they need to do, don't be surprised to see Westside play a home game in late March or early March.
Hey, Kyle, I'll tell you this now. Coach Group did do a good job, and I talked with Wade about this also. Coach Group did do a good job against some of those young guys that varsity experience last year. So those guards that turned the ball over a good bit last year, those guards are going to be very, very much experienced this year to go along with Wade. And I tell you this with you lose a good bit with Mosley, but I don't know. I think they're gonna make a deep run in the state playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Westover got some hitters over there too, man.
Who's that?
Who's that, Charles?
Yeah,
Westover.
Yes.
Yeah. I like Westover. That group. I haven't seen Miller grow. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I know Westover got some hitters over there that can do some damage.
Yeah, Westover, another team that I had ranked really high up there, and a 5 spot's a good spot. They could be really good. I mean, that they were like 14-12 or something like that last year. But Isaac Abidi, 6'8", jumps out of the gym. Bam Wingfield's a really good guard, and it was crazy because Marius Ellis was at Monroe, so okay, Monroe was going to be a top 5 school. He transfers out. He goes to Westover. So Westover, that automatically skyrockets him very high. Monroe has to drop down because that's, probably your number 1 or number 2 best player that's going to a region rival now. And then, well, he's ruled ineligible and he's not going to be able to play at Monroe or at Westover. So he transfers to Lee County. So then, Westover might, move down a spot or two because they're going to have a terrific big three. I number one were the big three right now. They got the big two, and they're gonna have, it's gonna be up to again role players. Can the role players keep up with those guys? But yeah, Westover, they're gonna be a dangerous team. They definitely have a great 1-2 punch that can rival anybody in the class.
Yeah. Hey, Waste, you talking to y'all?
Yeah, Waste. Waste said they lost Kevon a couple years ago. They went to the Final Four. Yeah, I mean that's one thing I can't say about Coach Groove and Coach Arnett and the rest of the coach staff over at Westside. They will have those guys ready for the moment and ready to play and ready to make a deep run. I can't say that.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Coach Arnett. We've been in the gym. We seen what they working with. So yeah, I think Westside is definitely going to surprise some people and come out on top on some things over there.
So looking at
3A.
Class 3A. Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts? Any opening remarks? Any statements? Anything jump out at this top 10 to you guys?
Upson Lee.
That's a familiar team.
Johnson Savannah.
Yeah.
Where's the Forest? And Sandy Creek's always in the mix.
Yeah.
So this is like another class that's kind of wide open.
I mean, Sandy Creek. It's like if it's not this year for Sandy Creek, that would be a tough pill to swallow. I mean, you got your
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, 6'10" going to Auburn. I mean, I would be stunned if he doesn't end up being an All-American. I mean, he averaged 24, 10, and like 3 last year. There's not a
Because
lot of teams that can,
oh,
match up with that.
what's the
He's
guard
got
name that's over there as well?
Rice transferred in from East
Yep.
Side,
Mm.
22 and 7 at East Side. He was really, really good playing with the Atlanta Celtics, so he's got that cohesion now, playing
Mhm.
alongside Jabari. So I mean, Sandy
Yeah.
Creek is a heavy favorite, but Windsor Forest, Shamar Norman, he can get so hot. I mean, that's a little guy. He's gonna put up some shots, but he could hit 7, 8 threes in a game and just completely wipe you out with the 30 piece. Dante Bass, 6'7", freakish athlete. I think he could really explode on D1 radars this year. John Savannah, Coach Chuck Campbell got the job over there. Imandre Bowles, terrific player, probably the most exciting player in Savannah. That's a kid that averaged like 21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, does
Mhm.
everything. And one of the more under recruited players in the
Yep.
state. But that's a kid that is a dog on both ends of the floor. He can put that team on his back. He's going to have some battles with Windsor Forest. And Jaheim Robinson, eligible this year, wasn't eligible last year. 6'6", 260 pounds, a point forward, can handle the ball, can facilitate, can rebound, can score inside. He opened a lot of eyes in the offseason. If he can be that effective in Coach Campbell's system this year, that's going to be a really interesting 1-2 punch. Then Antonio Baker, a young guard, really, really good. I think he's going to have a terrific future moving forward. Hart County, a team I love. Hart County, Taj Johnson, 6'7" sophomore. Sean Webb, 6'4" wing. I think he's one of my favorite. And again, I feel like one of the most under recruited players and an elite defender. I'm going to say it. He is an elite defender. And you don't say that much about players in the high school ranks. Sean Webb is an elite defender, freakish length. I think he's like 6'4", 6'7", 6'8" wingspan. Plays above the rim, has gotten better as a shooter, a facilitator, a playmaker. Uh, he is really good, really, really good. And then J.C. Curry is a name that you're going to want to circle heading into his junior season. Late this summer, he has really started to pick up some big fanfare. 6'4" guard, super athletic, can shoot the rock from deep. He is going to be that third piece. Don't be surprised if he averages anywhere from 12 to 15 points per game. They could have 3 guys averaging over 15 points per game at Hart County. They're athletic. They have length. That's a really good team. Upson Lee, of course, they're going to be tough with Malik Smith. Cersei coming back and shoot the ball. You got another TJ Cersei, bring some size inside. Um, that's a team that's going to be really good. I mean, they were just inches away from tying or beating Denmark last year in the Elite Eight. So that Upson Lee team, they have a lot of cohesion coming back. I think they're going to be really good. And I want to talk about number 6, Lafayette. This is a team that, again, we talked about it earlier. All records aren't necessarily equal. You can have a 25-2 team be terrific, but then you could see a 25-2 team not be that great. And Lafayette has played. They're in a better region this year. It's a little bit better region this year, but traditionally, Lafayette has not played in a good region whatsoever. They've played in a flat out bad region. They would crush these teams, and they would not play anybody outside of Northwest Georgia. They just would not. You're playing within a 40-minute radius, and that is it. And they'd come into the state tournament with a beautiful record, 1 loss, undefeated record, and they'd get dumped in the first round or dumped in the second round. Well, last year I was there in the Elite Eight game, up 15 points on Cross Creek at the half at Lafayette. And if they have home court advantage, especially this year, Lafayette is going to be extremely tough to beat. But they ended up blowing it last year to Cross Creek, lost like 58-55. But they in the state, he averaged like 21 and 13 last year. Played with the Atlanta Timberwolves. Played up a year, 17U Atlanta Timberwolves. This year, averaged 17 and 10 for them. So he's rebound. He's double doubling in the AAU circuit as well. He is really good. You add him to Cameron Porter. He's about 6'5", 6'6", gangly. Uh, He's, not super tight movements, but that's a guy that averaged 15 and 13 and, 3 blocks, catches some big time dunks. Coach Peppers has 4 starters coming back. Their guards are, on the smaller side, but they're quick. They run a dribble handoff on the wing between Porter and Hadaway, and that opens up a lot of driving opportunities because they can get to the basket. I'm telling you, Lafayette is going to be a really tough team to really compete with, just with that, 2-6-6 guys that are pretty dynamic. I think that's going to be a real good team. And then just real quickly, Cross Creek, they got Richard Visitation, who transferred in from Butler. He's going to really help out that backcourt. I really like Corey Trotter inside, 6'6". I think he needs to tighten up his body some, but that's a big guy that can attack off the perimeter from time to time. But he's got a really good feel back to the basket, scoring around the rim, can block some shots and rebound. GAC, team that's always really good. Lamar Randolph is still there. Josh Fulton, a junior who only played in maybe less than 10 games last year, but he was one of their best players. I mean, he's going to really open some eyes. A really good 6'5" wing, a guy that can score inside and out. He's going to be probably their leading scorer this year. And you have Size and Eddie Page, 6'8" junior. Dominic Cook transfers in from Tucker, a 6'9". I want to say he might be a junior as well. So you got 6'8", you got 6'9", you got a 6'5" wing that can really do a lot of good stuff. GAC is going to be dangerous. And then quickly, Todd Cottrell takes over at Dawson County. He's won a ton of games at Lakeview Academy with a similar type roster. Always has really good shooters. Dawson County had some transfers come in. Jake Kraft, Joakim over there from Forsyth Central, and they got, I believe it's Tyler Lane moved in from West Forsyth. So Dawson County will be tough again. And then Monroe area. If Monroe area is 100%, that is a team that has a shot to make it to the Final Four. Derek Brown, 6'6", inside and out, can really score it. McKendrick Lyles, if he's able to play this year, once he's able to play this year, that is a guy that averaged over 18 points per game, can fill it up from deep, shot 40% from three. That two right there, and then they have a couple more kids that are picking up, and they got a freshman that can really pass the ball and a big guy that's coming off the football field. Monroe area, if you're looking for a sleeper in the bottom of the poll, Monroe area is a really good team. You don't want to overlook come state tournament time.
I tell you what, Kyle, that was very impressive because you mentioned the names. You got some type of skit, like that, like name kids, coaches. I'm like, whoa.
Charles, I was just about to say, look, man, we ain't get to the end yet, but damn, Kyle.
It's gonna get a lot tougher. Trust me. When I get to Class A public, I'm gonna have to look at some notes probably. But I love these smaller schools, these schools that aren't in the Metro Atlanta area. These are the guys that need the coverage and need the publicity the most. I feel like so. Yeah, I try to know my stuff.
Oh yeah, but I'm with Charles on that one. I mean, the way you spitting it out and going with it, and I'm like, I've never heard of some of these schools before. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Those are the schools you gotta love. I have no idea. No one knows where the heck the Monroe area even is. What area is that? You gotta love it.
But I do have to commend our guy Wasey. Wasey shouted out Monroe area.
He did.
So he's seen him. He's seen him in person, man. So he like him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they put out West Side last year. I think 71-66 or so. They're good.
That's what he
yeah. Yeah.
So
who we up next? Double A.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah. What sticks out to you there?
Charmin White.
Yeah, that ain't no surprise. That joker, woof.
Charmin White, man, on top again. Won it last year.
Yep.
Hey, this is one of his favorite hashtags. Run it back.
Run it back. I know that's right.
Yeah, and I wrote about it in my rankings. It's considering how it's all the way down at Class 2A. I know they were 3A last year, but to think Pace Academy drops down a level and the amount they have coming back, it's almost unfair. I mean, come on, you got possibly a future All-American, and Matt Cleveland, 6'7" wing going to Florida State. Gosh, they have Cole Middleton, 6'6". If he can stay healthy inside, he's just gonna bully everyone going to Cleveland State. Um, Josh Reed is the next great thing, a 6'6", 6'7" junior who's really gotten a bunch of high major offers over the summer. Madison Durr is a big 6'4" guard. I mean, they just have so much, and especially at the Class 2A level, they're gonna be really really tough to beat. Out of all the classifications and all the teams, I had to rank number one. Pace Academy is my firm lock it in number one ranked team. Gonna take a heroic effort to beat them in the state tournament. Um,
Kyle, so is that like the tournament overall number one?
yeah, I'm telling you, Pace is my pick to win the state title, and I think Pace is everybody's pick to win the state title outside of Columbia, Swainsboro fans, Love fans, anybody else that's in that classification. Everyone is going to say, yeah, Paces. They're going to be freaking hard to beat.
They are gonna be hard to beat, man. Then and I mean not only the kids, man, but I mean just Coach White himself.
Mm-hmm.
Joker does a great job, man. And I mean I know people see him winning and he have kids but he does a great job. He knows his stuff, man. He really does.
Yeah,
And I mean, and I can say that because we took a butt whooping by about 30 in the state championship game in 13-14. So I mean, we seen it live and in color. He knows what he's doing. He ain't got that many for no reason.
yeah, and you get some town, and it's almost, it's almost game over. But looking at the rest of that poll, Swainsboro, the defending state champs, I was super impressed with them last year when I saw them in the Final Four in the state championship. Don't have the size, they don't have 6'6", 6'7", but they have some hellacious athletes. The Sebro brothers both going to North Carolina State for football. Frederick and Cedric. Frederick is really good, a really good player, an all-state player. About 6'4", both of them about 6'4", 6'5", but physically strong. Frederick especially dynamic. He will clean the glass. He will play above the rim. He will provide highlights. He will score inside. He can take you off the dribble. He can occasionally knock down the three-point shot. He's a really good player. He is a really good basketball player. I know he's a big-time football commit, but he is really good. And, they graduate their two top scoring guards, but I think it's Tyler Brown is coming back, a three-point shooter. Derek Jones is a really good athlete. He's about 6'1", but he averaged like 3 block shots per game. He flies around all over the place. That's a team that's aggressive. They get after you. They don't back down from a challenge. So they'll be up to the task. Columbia's good. Julius Lyman transferred in over there. Um, Also, Mason Lockhart transferred in, a 6'6" junior inside who's really good at double threat. So Columbia, knowing that they're going up against Pace Academy, they pick up two 6'6" bruisers inside to try and compete at that high level. So they'll be good. And Kawasaki Ricks, a really good passer, led DeKalb County last year in assists, and love it. Ryan Mutombo, 6'11", going to Georgetown, averaged 24, 12, and 3 a season ago. What can he do to take his game to the next level? He won Sandy Spiel Most Improved Player last year in his classification, but what's going to be his encore? What is going to be his encore? I think he's going to have a really good season. But again, when we talk about these starters, not everyone is blessed to be like a Matt Cleveland where they have a bunch of other Division One players around them. It's usually one star player and then, okay, role players. What do we got? How can we get the job done? Jay Josh, I believe he's still there. He was an all region pick last year. He's a quality guard, and they got a couple other guys that can help out. So love it. Again, it's going to come down to that. And then Laney's always going to have tough guys. DJ Collins over there. Matt Jones is 6'8", lanky, long, hasn't really produced, points wise, but that's a guy that could maybe have a breakout season this year and come close to averaging a double, super athletic. Laney, that just their aggressive style of play is always going to give teams problems. Thomasville, they have pretty much everybody back. I really like them. Clifford Davis is dynamic, about 6'1", 6'2". He's going to average well over 20 points per game this year. This is a guy, if you haven't seen him in person, he's going to be worth the price of admission. That he'll pull up from 25 feet. He will get to the rim in a flash. He will throw down some dunks. He's a big time player. And he's got a lot of seniors coming back to support him. So Thomasville has a lot of good cohesion for Coach Tillman. Butler, they lose a couple players here and there, but that's a team that's going to be really tough. Woodville Tompkins with Coach Lenny last year, they were young. They took a couple lumps here and there, rebuilding back that program. But Alfonso Ross, um, Alfonso's really good. Antonio Hunt is really good. Lucas Platuna is good. Wes Walker inside at 6'6" is showing signs of being a really impactful big man as a sophomore. So he's going to be quite important. And then Zion Powers, I liked him. I saw him at that pro movement, Jarrett's event. Shout out Jarrett again. Really just loved the energy he played with. About 6'2", but looked like he could play multiple positions for Coach Williams. He'll be a big help. Vidalia, all Vidalia does is win. I'm going to pull up the numbers for you right here on Coach Tommy Daly. He is 195 and 44 since 2012, 2013. That
Wow.
is a lot of wins. That is a lot of wins. Vidalia wins over 20 games almost every year. I think it's what, seven? What is it? 7 out of the past 8 seasons they've won over 20 games. Vidalia is a really, really good program. Very well coached. And then Jeff Davis, number 10, a team that boomer bust. C.J. Parker, it's his team now. Jaquez Kirby is gone. He's at Murray State. But C.J. Parker, if his hand's fully healed, he got hurt last year, and that really put a damper on Jeff Davis' season. But he is a big-time scorer. I think you can see him average 15 to 20 points per game this year.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle. Looks like it was some conversation from Wasey as far as Swainsboro.
Yeah, Swainsboro, they're he hit the nail on the head. The Sebro twins are tough. They are tough, and that's like if they ever match up with Pace Academy, with Cole Middleton, with Matt Cleveland, best believe they're gonna be right up on. They're gonna field them. They're not gonna come and just run them over. Those guys are physical. Those guys are some dogs over there at Swainsboro. Pace Academy is a heavy favorite, and I'm picking Pace Academy. But Swainsboro, they will not go down without a fight. They're gonna be really tough. The Seabros are good, but I just worry about when they play a Pace Academy where they're finally seeing someone that they're just as physical in me in Cole Middleton, and he's got 2 inches on me. They've always been the biggest, strongest, most athletic guys. Now you're seeing some that can do that, and then you're seeing, Matt Cleveland's. He's no wimp in the weight room either. He's something special as well. But I would love to see that just from a physical specimen match at the Sebro Twins versus Cleveland and Middleton.
Yeah. Hey, Charles, what was the other comment we got?
Ooh.
Under the radar, I love it.
Radar.
They're right there on the precipice. They got what? They got Bloodsaw coming back. Preston Kent moves back over to Waco, and I like Preston Kent when I saw him. A little fiery redhead, but he's in his bag. He can score the ball. He's going to provide a really nice scoring punch. I think he led GMC in scoring at about 14 a game last season. So again, that's another thing where you say tradition never really graduates. Washington County always wins a lot of games. Jardine Mays isn't going to be there, but Preston Kent's going to be tough. And another team I like in that region, I could see Washington County and I could see Northeast Macon going back and forth as being 2 of the top dogs. With Travion Solomon, I think he's pretty good. They got Pettigrew coming back. Odoms is supposed to be there, so they got a nice core 3 right there. And Solomon's a really good young guard.
Yeah. Hey, so Kyle, without being able to see some of these schedules, are we going to have some of these head-to-head matchups early or during the season? Or is this a playoff thing?
Usually when you get to the smaller classifications, I think it's going to be a playoff thing. Now, Pace Academy, when Pace Academy, when they play these teams, they're not going to schedule another 2. They're going to be playing the 7A schools and the 6A schools, and they're going to be going out of state, or if they're allowed to play out of state game, they're going to be playing those other teams. When you get to these smaller 2A schools, it's very rare that you're going to play another good 2A school from a different region. It just usually doesn't happen. So and again, that's why I kind of really, in the past, have really liked the smaller classifications in Class 2A because you got a school from over here against a school from down here. They're 4 or 5 hours apart. They're never gonna see each other. They're never gonna see like opponents. And then
Right.
once you get to state tournaments, like okay, Region 8 is, I guess they're legit. Okay, Region 3, maybe they weren't as hot this year. So it's just something that really makes it very interesting because those teams are just never gonna cross paths.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna say this small thing right here, Cal. When you blowing out those records, now I have to give a shout out to my head coach as well, who's all 172 and 30 in the last 7 years.
There you go. Thank you. I like that.
Oh
He's
yeah,
got that ring to show it.
oh yeah,
That ring
oh
to
yeah.
show it.
He's been putting in that work now.
Yeah, he's climbed the mountaintop. Some of these other guys not as lucky, but yeah, he's got the hardware to show for it.
Oh yeah. Little single A
Yes.
what? Single A private.
I usually go private first. Private works. What do you guys see in single A private? Anything sticking out to you? I know we got some familiar faces at the top.
Yeah,
Oof. St. Francis, Mount Messiah. Yeah.
I tell you, Patillo right there. With
Coach Black.
Coach Black, man, with those two kids he got over there, them kids can flat out play now.
Yeah. FPD at number 10.
LPD.
Yeah, number 10, that spot gets really hard because you're looking at all these schools, and I talk about it in the rankings. When you get to Class A private, the vast majority of the time, all those schools are going to be in that Metro Atlanta area. You're not going to see a ton of teams from outside of that area, and to have Columbus represented and St. Anne Pacelli, and then Macon and FPD, that's something in itself right there. I mean, what is it? Jordan Jones, I've never been able to see him play in person, but I hear that kid can put the ball in the basket. You average 25 points per game, and you're not on a team that's winning 5 games a year. Like that kid can score, and he's got some other help there. A nice young backcourt that's supposed to be coming back. So can FPD, can they compete with St. Francis, Green Forest, Mount Pisgah's of the world? I don't think so, but I still think that's a team that's going to win a lot of games, especially with the new region. You're looking at Region 1, and that yeah, Coasi, yeah, the 19-year-old. I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna touch that. Don't say a word about that. No, no, no. I don't have my DMs closed, so I better not. But just thinking about FPD, they've been in Region 7, which in Class A public, Class A private, Region 7 has been one of the toughs. You're talking about Hancock's been in there, Wilkinson County's been in there, Lincoln County's been in there, FPD's been in there, Stratford when they've been good has been in there, Aquinas when they've been good they've been. That has been just a brutal region, really, really tough for both public and private schools alike. But now FPD breaks out. They're in Region 1. You're looking at a Deerfield Windsor team that jumps into the GHSA for the first time. They were 10-17 last year. Mount Sales Academy was 12-12. Stratford was 10-14. Strong Rock Christian 1-23. Tatnall 6-16 right there. So just basing it off the records and everything, it looks like FPD, a team that was 20-7 last season, they should be able to win that region, I would think.
Yeah. Hey Kyle, not to take away from the rankings at all, but I know you've mentioned a few times about teams moving classifications and whatnot. For our viewers out there, can you just kind of give us an idea or a brief summary of how that happens and why that's happening?
Yeah, so the GHSA, they usually do it in, sometimes it's like 2 to 4 year, maybe like 4 year cycles where they'll go back through and they'll judge and see, okay, this school has this total amount of enrollment. This school, so if a school's getting smaller, if their enrollment's dropping, they're going to drop down in the classifications. And similar, if you're a new school, like a lot of these new schools like Denmark and stuff like that, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so they're going to climb up. And then when you get to like the city schools, and private schools may do it differently too, but the city schools, sometimes guys are counted for like 1.5 or half. I don't really read into it. Some people are counted differently, so that's how you've seen in the past. A lot of people, like when you're talking about Calhoun football and stuff like that, Cartersville, they're like, oh, this isn't fair. That's a city school. Buford has a city school rule, so they've always dominated in football, and people have always said, well, it's not fair. They're not really playing by the exact same rules. So I'm sure a lot of people are happy to see like the Calhouns and the Bufords. They're all moving up now in classification finally. So it makes things a lot tougher from a athletic standpoint. But it just goes in cycles. The GHSA checks in on the enrollment numbers, and they'll arrange it accordingly. And then regions typically broken down by the area that the schools are in. And you see we have some regions that have 10 teams, 12 teams, and then some regions that only have 4 teams. And that's just based on geographics right there.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
So, Big Waste want to know if Green Forest can get it done.
I would say definitely on paper, they have enough. I think they have enough to get it done. You got Guy Scholl, 7-footer eligible this year. DK Manuel, 6'11" or 7-foot eligible this year. You got one more that's like 7'2" that I guess is going to be eligible this year. You bring in Jalen. What is it? Jalen Jackson, if I'm not losing my mind. He transfers in from Green Forest or from Douglas County to Green Forest. 6'6", going to North Carolina A&T. I really like him a lot. Freakish athlete, has really improved. Yeah,
Hey, Kyle, go over that size again.
So we got 7'2", we got 7 foot, we got 6'11". They might have a new 7-footer that's only a freshman or so. They always have guys getting imported over there, and
they got every 7-footer in Georgia.
Correct. So they have that. They got Chase Cormier, a really good 3-point shooter that transferred mid-season from St. Pius last year. He'll be one of their best guards. Florian Tenenbay is a big guard at like 6'4". Jalen Forrest is a really good guard that's, I think, only maybe a junior who's a bulky 6'3". Kai Cook is a little ankle biter at 5'8", but he'll get up under you and pick up steals. So, I mean, everything's there. Everything's there. It's just whether they can get the job done when you're playing against a team that has really good guard play. And St. Francis, last year, they led the entire state championship game. They really embarrassed Green Forest. They were up, 15, 20 points fairly early on. Dwan Odom was just another beast. You just couldn't do anything with it. But the question was last year, and it's going to be a question again this year because they're even bigger this year. Is if they play like a St. Francis, or if St. Francis plays Green Forest, how do they deal with Green Forest's height? I mean, they don't have Chase Ellis anymore, but he was only 6'2", and he was a terrific rebounder. And Chase Ellis scored at will instead against the size of Green Forest, so it did not affect them whatsoever. I think it's going to come down to guard play. It's scary when you step on the court when you see 3 7-footers, but again, when you're playing good basketball teams, they've seen the size before. Maybe not 7 foot, but they know how to score and play against big guys. And they're just, these good guards, they're licking their chops saying, oh man, get me in a screen and roll. I'm going to just take this guy off the dribble. I'm going to eat him up. And, Green Forest is likely going to sit in a zone. But if you get into an up and down game, that's what St. Francis was good at last year with Oakland. They're going to be tough to beat. And this year they got good guard play again. Jordan Brown, a year better. Seth Hubbard, I think, is really going to take a nice step as well. Keith Robbins, who transferred in from GNC, really blew up. Got a Xavier offer, a really well put together 6'4" junior guard. He's going to be key for them. And then Jusan Holt, 6'6" on the perimeter, going to Alabama. I mean, that 4 right there. You got Coach Drew Catlett on the sidelines. They're going to be fine. If they play Green Forest, they're not going to be afraid. They'll be just fine. And that's why I feel like until Green Forest can slay that dragon, which you would usually think the dragon's the biggest person, the Green Forest, until they slay the dragon, the state title always will run through Alpharetta, and that is in St. Francis.
Yeah.
You got a question for me, Jusan Holt, Seth Hubbard duo. Yeah,
Definitely nice.
he's really taken his game to the next level. I feel like he's really confident now. He averaged about like 12.7 rebounds, but that was behind Chase Ellis and Dwan Odom. Those are the two hallmarks for Coach Catlett. But he's really worked on getting his own shot off the dribble and shooting from distance. So he's a guy that can create now. He doesn't even need a screen and roll. He's improved his ball handling a lot. So he can still get to the basket at a high clip, but he can hit you with a three dribble combo and get a clean look from beyond the 3-point line. So Holt's really tough. And then Seth Hubbard, I haven't got to see him as much over the summer, but I really liked what I saw last year in the state championship game, just from what I saw a year before that when he was a freshman. So that's another kid that I think is really taking the steps. Again, he's long. He's about 6'2", 6'3", really pure stroke, can shoot the ball from outside, but I think he has really good instincts as well. He's getting stronger. I think that's a kid that you could really see really emerge. I think if you're listening, your top guys, I think your top three may be Holt, Robbins, and then Hubbard, and then Brown is that fourth man. But he's not too far behind. But I do think Hubbard's going to play a really really big piece for the Knights this year.
Mm.
Ooh, Class A public. All right, who stands out, you guys? This is going to be a tough one.
I tell you, Hancock Central always is there. Turner County, Wilkinson. Wilkinson always top 10. Taylor County, Miss Woodard. Yes, sir. That kid's a player now down there in Taylor now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so looking at these, and I'll start at Wilkinson County. Like, just looking on paper, they don't have a Lamar on the roster. They had Jalen Lamar and Christian Lamar, and both those two brothers, they both won Class A Public Player of the Year. Like, they carried Wilkinson County. Both those cats are gone now, but it's just like the sample size. History, again, we talked about when I go into the ranks. What's the history of this program? Is Wilkinson just going to fall off a cliff? I don't think they are. It's just something they're not going to do. And whether it's Coach Jeter or Coach Whipple, they have such a culture there and an expectation of winning championships every single season. Those kids know if they put on that jersey, if they're part of the Blue Storm, it is state championship or bust. It doesn't matter if the expectations are sky high and you have everybody back, or you don't have a lot coming back like this year. They got Jamari Day coming back, who's going to be a really big piece for them, and they got one more coming back as well. But that's just something that it doesn't matter. They know what it is. Coaches say the standard is a standard. The standard is winning games, making no excuses. They're still playing at the Palace. They're going to have great home court advantage. The region's going to look a little bit different. Like I said, with Region 7, everything's been separated now. But Wilkinson County, even though I felt like there's another team that might have on paper looked like they deserve that top spot, it's like it's just been years and years of winning games no matter what for Wilkinson County. So it's going to be tougher than usual maybe, but I just could not, in my right mind, just start a Class A public poll without Wilkinson County in there somehow represented.
Right.
Yeah.
What you think about Hancock Central?
Yeah, and you're looking at like Hancock Central over there at number 1. That's who they're going to be going up against, Wilkinson County. Hancock, they got their two best guys back, Jamal Taylor, Leroy Wilson. You got two guys average over 15 points per game. They both played well over the So that's why Hancock, they open up at number 1. You got your two top dogs back. They got one transfer that came in from GMC, Jabari Dixon, supposed to be an athletic guard, so you throw him into the mix as well. Hancock's going to be a really tough team, but you're looking at all these schools. These are all schools all spread throughout the map. A lot of it's primarily all South Georgia teams, but Drew Charter at number 3 with Jacoby Strozer. That's a kid that can really carry that team. And I'm looking at this region right now. They're in Region 6, and he's got Jacquez Thornton back, and Cedric Taylor's supposed to be there as well as 6'4", 6'5", sophomore wing. Region 6, I mean, they got to be happy. I mean, they were battling. They were in like Region 5 last year that had like Wesleyan, Trinity Christian, Green Forest, Holy Innocents. They had to play everybody, and they're a Class A public school. Do you know how hard that is? And that battle tested them for the state tournament, but I mean, they did not have the same resources as these private schools. But they were right there. They competed at a super high level, and now you're looking at what they're in Region 6. I'll read it off to you real quick. Armucci was 6-20 last year. Atlanta Classical was 5-16. Best Academy 9-14. Bowden 14-12. Fulton Leadership was 1-13. I guess they're going to have a program this year. I'm not sure. I know they were struggling last season. Gordon Lee was 6-19. Mount Zion Carrollton 12-13. Clown was 9-16. And you have Drew Charter, who played in the best Class A private region last year, and they finished 18-9. So Drew Charter, I expect them to win that region, go undefeated in region play at least, and I think they're going to have a chance to go really deep into the state tournament.
Yeah, we got a question from Wasey. He said, "Trulin is normally a top 5 team in public 1A. Knocked at the state title door a couple times over the past 2 to 3 years. Is the run over, or are they now in rebuilding mode?"
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the run is over right now. That doesn't mean they can't rebuild it in give them a year or two. But I mean, all those seniors, Sabo, all those kids they had last year, they were the heart and soul for that team. They go undefeated almost every year and then just suffer heartbreak after heartbreak, and you really feel for that team because that was a team that you saw coming. They were building sophomores, juniors, seniors, and then they lose a heartbreaker, which I think it was in overtime. Really, really unfortunate for them. But Cartavius Terry, he's supposed to still be back. He's about 6'8" inside, but I mean, when Trutlin's been good, which has been very, very recently, the past 5-6 years, they've been a team that can press, be super fast, put up tons and tons of points, overwhelm you with their athletes at the guard position. They're gonna have to rebuild that and see who is next to slot in for those guys that they lost. You got a big guy inside that always helps out, but it's going to be tough to replace and replicate what they've done.
Kyle, again, man, I'm we're looking at the list right now, and just the way that you can kind of spit the list out and go from, I don't know.
Man, a pack of lions up there, man.
That's my pride, though.
Oh, all right.
Hey.
Hey, if Kyle can get on here and be Batman, I can show my pride.
Yeah, it's
You right, my bad. You right, my bad, man. Atlanta Zoo.
Kyle, I'm gonna tell you about something.
My house is a zoo for real.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something about Charles, man. You never know what we go.
You never know.
I like that. Very diverse over there.
Yeah, I have to keep them on their toes. They get used to one thing. I was like, look, y'all don't get comfortable around me.
Yeah, you guys aren't expecting to see this when I logged on today.
No. You threw me off, brother. You threw me off with that one, but yeah. Hey, but like I was saying, man, just the way that you can spit out these schools from the highest classification down to the lowest classification and have details and all of that, man. Like I said, it amazes me, brother. But with that, I and not taking nothing away from you, but the way I got Wasey is spitting out the same, he's asking some in-depth questions about these classifications in these schools as well. So, shout out to him for doing his work and his due diligence also.
But that's what I was talking about earlier, man. These jokes, it's not easy. It's not easy what to do. I mean, it ain't just in one spot. It's just in one location.
Right.
Seeing one set of things. It goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Across the board. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, really appreciate that though, man. And that's what we need, as moving forward, man. And like I text Cal all the time, man, tell him thank you. Appreciate it, man. Like, the things that he does, man, is unmatched. I can say,
right.
Because he gets it done on all levels, and and he has his note to back it up. I mean, it ain't just a ranking where you can say, all right, these are the top 10. Why are these the top 10? Oh, yeah, because Coach White didn't won certain amount of state championship. No, they're going to give you a rundown of each kid, what happened last year, what happened in the region, who moved in or, whatnot.
Yeah, who moved out? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So if we got some coaches out there watching, man, I think one thing that resonated with me was how some teams you can't pull out of a ranking because of the culture, because of what that coach has done with that particular school and that his particular brand to say, hey, I am going to figure this out. This is our culture. This is what I built. This is what I've developed from my feeder programs up. So I think that that should resonate throughout Georgia, and it goes. And I tip my hat to those coaches because building that culture, it's a constant thing. It's not like you build it and you're done. You have to maintain it in and out of season. So yeah, my hat goes off to those guys that take that to another level. So
yeah. Hey, so even to that point, Charles. So Kyle, I'll ask you this, man. When you're doing these rankings each year based on the culture and based on what the coach is going to bring and how that program is built, does that kind of not necessarily play into how the rankings go, but just know that that's going to be a good program based on those facts as well?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. So if there's a team like a Wilkinson County, if that's a team that's, it doesn't matter. The past like 15 years, they're always really, really good, no matter who suits up. If I'm struggling to find that 10th spot, that 10th team where it's like, well, this team could, take that jump, boom or bust, sometimes I'm gonna side with the team that I know it's a proven commodity. Now that they might not have it on paper this year, but they're gonna have a couple guys coming back from that team that won a lot of games, and it's a tradition. You don't graduate tradition. That team's always been good, and there's some other teams that were on the precipice. Now, will Wilkinson County, could they fall out early on in the season? It's very likely. Wilkinson always goes out and plays super tough teams. It was like maybe 2 years ago they were, I don't know, like 2-7 to start the year or something like that. I think they might have ended up winning the state title that year. We always know they're going to go out and play some really good teams and challenge themselves. Now, they could get off to a slow start this year and they could fall out, and that's fine. And that other team that, sometimes I want to see. Sometimes I want to see a team prove it first. Like Wilkinson, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. And there's some other teams I want to see them prove it first. Like Social Circle, they're coming down from Class 2A. They got Tyrell Branch is an All-State guard. They were 20-8 last year. That's a team that I really think could get into the top 10 this year. But I'm going to be conservative and I'm going to say, hey, you guys have never really been in the top 10 before. You're moving down to a new classification. Things are a little different. You have a lot of players coming back. You have a lot of great momentum. And I think you're a top 10 team, but I'm just going to slow play it and say, hey, I want to see the games play out first. You guys handle your business like I think you should. You're going to be in the top 10 very, very soon. So that's why I went with Wilkinson County, and I'm just going to say, hey, Wilkinson, I'll give it to you right now. Let's see what you got. You might get off to a slow start. You got a lot of new pieces there. Maybe it works, clicks just like that. Maybe not. It's all good. But if you guys don't do it, I'm not throwing you by the wayside. But there might be a team that was just waiting in the wings to say, hey, look, we won our first 4 games. We've proven we can handle it this season. So yeah, it's just something you always got to take into consideration about the history of these programs.
Yeah.
I think that's what guys from the other podcast, Love of the Game, was touching on the other night when they was talking about the high major schools, mid majors, and low major schools, which the tradition. Like Kyle said, man, I mean, Wilkinson County gonna be in the thick of things before it's all said and done. So, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah. Hey, and just real quick, man, while we brought up Love of the Game, shout out to those guys and what they're doing over there, and definitely a shout out to and congratulations to Coach Huff, who's taking over a program, Voorhees College.
Yeah.
The men's program over at Voorhees College. So definitely shout out and congratulations to Coach Huff on that accomplishment, man. We wish you nothing but success, man, and congratulations.
Yeah, man. And like I say, I had the privilege of speaking with Coach Huff, right after he took the job off one of our kids, Jordan Brown, over in Northside. So, like you said, congratulations. He's gonna build a program over there, and he's gonna get it done. Great man for the job.
Absolutely.
So,
So yeah, real quick, before we close out the show, I know Coach Tat, you wanted to kind of talk to this a little bit as far as the car show and what you guys got going on.
Yeah, this weekend coming up, man. Like I spoke about earlier, man. That's our former coach, man. Almost like our dad, man. Who Coach Garner kind of took over for. Coach Malone was at Warner Robins High for a long time. Actually, coached me, Coach Garman, and Coach Reggie. A lot of us from the coaching staff at Warner Robins. Passed of a heart condition, and wife carrying on his car show what he had been doing before he had passed. And it's coming up this weekend, man. If you out in the area, if you out in Warner Robins, feel free to come by, man, and check out some of the nice old school cars that'll be there, and for a good cause, man. And I mean the foundation chipping away at heart disease, and I mean it's Miss Cynthia's numbers up there in the vendors that want to come out and support and food trucks, whatever. Her contact her, and she'll point you in the right direction. So you're doing it Saturday. That's one of the things that we get going on Saturday. Another thing that we got going on Saturday. Middle school up review camp, man, with Coasa, man, Southdale. We coming on with Heights South and Kuwait, man, good thing. Who's next? Trying to get these middle schools out there and see what we got coming up through the pipeline throughout the state. I mean, it's kids all over the state. That's sign that comes to the preview camp, man.
Yeah, so definitely shout out to Brandon over at One Step Away. That's going to be hosting that camp. But like Coach Tat said, it's for 6th through 8th graders coming up. Kind of get their name on the map, get them out there, get them pushing. Why drive all the way to Atlanta when we can have an event down here that can be just as successful? And kind of get them in the right direction as far as where they need to go. So again, looking forward to it. That's going to be on this Saturday, November 7th, coming up as well. Like I said, Hype South Media is going to be all over that. I know Coach Harnett is going to be doing some of the training during that, and then just looking to get them out there. So definitely stay tuned and see the videos and the outtakes and all that good stuff coming from that camp.
Cool.
Yeah, what you got coming up, brother?
Hey, real quick, I know Charles be running around with his camera, so
I will. Snap. Oh yeah.
Yeah, what you got coming up, man?
Ooh, it's just hanging out till the season starts. I'm currently in the process of moving, so that's been a strenuous process trying to get that all figured out. So if you see the new scenery behind me, this is my childhood bedroom. So I won't show you too much of my room. I'm already embarrassed enough with this facial hair and this mask on, so that's why I'm wearing the mask. It's not for Halloween. It's just because I don't want to show my face. But yeah, that's that's pretty much it. Just ready for the basketball season to be here.
Hey, Kyle, you got that high school jersey framed up in there?
Ooh, you know what? Mom started tearing down the walls and took down my stuff. I had my poster here. It used to be right here, right behind me. My poster. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, that's a dang shame. Yeah. I
Right.
don't know
Hey, KP, you gonna have Kyle reliving some childhood memories, man.
Yeah. Hey,
Come
they
on.
did tell us the
Yeah.
big fundamental, ain't
Yeah,
Did call me that. I wasn't too flashy, but I got the job done at the level I played at. I was good enough for
There you go.
that's what matters.
We're gonna get that schedule. We're gonna get the Heights Out Hoop Classic schedule over to you.
Perfect. Yes, please do. Please do. It's gonna be time soon to start, mapping out my plan of attack, try and see as many different teams, schools as possible throughout the season. I know hopefully my Hyundai Elantra is ready for it. I think I get pretty good gas mileage, so
There you go.
There you
gonna
go.
get new
Yeah.
tires for it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be all
That's it.
There you go. Hey, but definitely, we're gonna get the Hype South schedule out. We're gonna get some other events that we got going on, publicized. I think we're gonna start season 2 of this podcast at some point.
I think we're on like episode
35.
39, like Naked Gun. 33 and a half. We're gonna have to go to season 2. Yeah, one day. Goodness.
I
And
don't know why that's so funny, but it is to me.
tomorrow we are gonna go live tomorrow. Our special election piece, I should say, with Erica Williams and Angela Anderson. Yes, that they are. They'll be on tomorrow, and it'll be the first time we ever go on Monday. But it's for a good cause. Speak piece on why you should vote for them. Like I said earlier, why you should get out and vote and this, that, and the other. So that's what we got for tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Looking forward to that. Hey Kyle, before we get out of here, man, give out your social media.
Yeah, so Twitter is going to be the best way to find breaking news at Kyle Sandy 355. Or you can follow at Sandy Spiel, SandySSPiel, and then also Create the Culture, my up and coming thing, running fall camps and fall leagues and showcase camps and adult men's league. We just got to get back into the gym. Some of these school districts around here, they don't want third parties in the gym, so it's kind of hurt. That's at CTC Athletics. You could find us on Twitter and also on Instagram.
Hey, that men's league, we talked about that last time he was on, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
that. Yeah. I thought you guys are gonna forget because I know I'm not lacing them up. You guys can,
Hey,
but not me. Not me.
yes, sir.
I'm good.
Coach Tat running the point.
Oh no, I got clubbed out Coach Butt.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got clubbed out Coach Butt.
Hey, you run the point and we pressing the whole game. 1, 2,
sir.
3. You got the top.
I don't even walk in the refrigerator. That's why I call AJ down here. Oh, sir.
Hey, Kyle, more to come on that, man. We're gonna put a squad together.
Yes, sir. That sounds good. I love it.
1, 3, 1. Tap you in the back.
We're gonna be there. Yeah.
I get Coach Garmin and Coach Buddy, man. Coach Reggie, they help like. Oh, sir.
Hey, but as always, Kyle, man, we appreciate you being on the show, brother. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to kind of break your list, get it out to the public, let them know what you was thinking, how it went down, man. So, what's this? Hold on. This is Bruce. This is our man, Bruce. Batman knows. KP never. So children of the court. Like he taking notes.
I know, right? Yeah, I disagree with you. Yes.
My background is still the same. It's just this is more comfortable.
Yeah, man. Bruce, listen, Bruce. We gonna be on top at the end of the season, brother.
Yeah, hey, put that back up. He got detailed notes.
He said,
That man, why he changed the background? The Rams lost.
"Hey, you gotta get off my Rams, dog. Like that's not up for discussion. Like we not
Bro,
we,
yeah, Bruce.
and look, put it like this.
They did lose to that rookie today, though.
Yeah.
They did.
It's a loss. It is what it is. It's the beginning of November. Like, if you're gonna lose, now's the time to lose.
Just the time to do it, huh?
Yeah. Like, no Falcon fan can say nothing about the Rams. Like, you can't even talk about a team, right? Like, no team.
Hey,
right?
you said you once said we hadn't lost in November.
Hey,
Who? It's November 1st.
hey, I'm
My
looking
boy,
at
we
this,
lost this week.
I'm looking at this battle right now on TV. 9-7. Dallas beating Philly.
Oh, wow.
Beginning
Oh, that's
of the
man, that's the sucker bowl, man. We didn't pay both of them. They got to catch up to us, man. But yeah, Cal, we got to get you down here to Middle Georgia, man. So you come down here and watch some basketball, man.
I'll be there. Trust me. I told you, I got no strings attached right now. I could go wherever I want. I'm blessed enough to be able to set my own schedule, especially during high school basketball season. So I don't have an excuse not to get there this year. That's for sure. You got to hold me to
All
it.
right, well, we need to go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna hold you to it, man.
Oh yeah.
If we don't do it, you see our viewers will.
Yeah, there you go. Gotta love that. Good. Hold me accountable.
You say that, bro.
Oh yeah. Hey, before we get out of here, y'all see it, man. Shout out to our sponsors, Hype South Media, Hype South Skills Lab. I want my shirt. KPP Designs, 619 Training. We need a shirt from you all too. And Happy Hydro. Their information is coming soon, but definitely give a shout out to them. Happy Hydro. We just appreciate you guys, all the viewers. We appreciate you tuning in. I know this show went kind of longer today, but it was good information to get out there. So we appreciate you sticking in with us, understanding, getting in the mind of Mr. Kyle Sandy and seeing how he breaks things down, aka the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go from there. So I guess the biggest piece is put this in your memory bank, and then at the end of the year, we're gonna have to bring Kyle back on, and we're gonna see how everything kind of worked itself out and see how on point he was or if he missed the mark on some things.
Ooh, you know,
right,
I like to see a mid-year review. You know, that's how
Yeah.
See if you want to switch it up before the end of the year.
I'm pretty sure we'll have a state playoff viewing.
Hold up. Yeah, we'll have a state playoff. That's end-year review.
Yeah.
Mid-year review is how you mid-year review. Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah. We definitely
going
going
off the football field. Some of these schools, mid-year you could have a bad record. It's tough for some of these schools. So have faith in the rankings for a little longer.
So Kyle, we'll bring you on. We'll bring you on right after.
Right before the playoffs. Would it be right before the playoffs?
State playoffs?
Right before the state playoffs.
All the regions will be done.
You know where to find me. It gets crazy that time of year, but you guys got first dibs.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right before state playoffs.
Hey, we hit the bat line.
Oh yeah, exactly. I gotta see my phone in the sky. I'll be right over there. Don't worry. I'll be right to my laptop.
We gotta throw the bat signal out.
Yeah, bat signal. That's right. Throw it up there. I'll see it. Don't worry. I'll see it.
There you go. Hey, but I'm sure we're gonna see you in the gym somewhere, man. Like we talked about earlier, we're trying to get on the move with this platform and trying to cover basketball as well and kind of bring it back, especially since we know the fans limitations as far as the 20% or whatever the case is, whatever it's going to end up being. So we're going to try to use this outlet to kind of bring basketball to our viewers that maybe not be able to get into the games or whatever the case may be, so they can stay up on the latest and greatest. So definitely.
That's great. Yeah, crucial time for you guys. Yeah, media members and you guys. It's like we all gotta work together and cover it as much as possible. Because I know there's gonna be hundreds of people that would, die to be at that game, would kill to get there, but just can't because of the limitations. So yeah, it's great to have you guys out there.
Yeah, so we still working on them passes too.
Yeah, aren't we all, right? I know. I gotta mock those up for you. I gotta talk to my guy in the GHSAL. I don't know. You never know. They could be like super strict. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and shut me out. The first game I go to. You go to some of these random gyms and they're just some guys are sticklers, and you show them immediate pass and they won't have it. So I don't know. That's a scary thought though. But I need to get you guys one. That's for sure. You're my
Yeah,
effort.
yeah. And you working from your end, man. We'll try to work it from ours.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, but always, man. Great talking to you. A lot of insight, not a lot of knowledge. We enjoy picking your brain. You're like an open book. Whatever we ask, you can kind of answer us and get us straight, man. So we definitely appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It's always fun. You guys are best in the business, man. Feels like family already. I love it.
There you
Hey,
go.
hey, that's fair. That's what we do, man. We family.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
back to the hip now.
Coach Tat, what you got before we get out of here?
Nothing, man. Like I say, just tune in tomorrow, man, with special election piece. So just tune in tomorrow, man. We appreciate you. Like I said, we'll be, we always hit the bat line whenever we need some, or whenever you need something, you can hit us up, or anytime, brother.
Look at
Yes,
that.
sir.
Batman, Robin. Look at that. You got the R on your chest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
That is that is
there you go.
Hey, we gotta get out of here. I don't know what's going on with Charles.
Big R on his chest. It makes sense. No, that's all love, man. Hey, where we gonna be at without laughs, man? Gotta laugh. We gotta laugh. Hey, brother, we appreciate you, Kyle, man. Appreciate you dropping some knowledge on us, letting us know how you do what you do. And that's years, people. That is years and years and years of watching basketball and dissecting it and being able to remember those kids. So, man, very impressive. Keep doing what you're doing. Great work in covering kids, boys and girls, covering the state of Georgia. So, man, impressed, super impressed.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Hey, salute to you, brother.
yes, sir.
Hey, so if there's nothing else to be said, man, we're gonna get out of here. Kyle, don't hang up, man.
Yes,
We're gonna get out of here, and then we'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.